When do I train abs? When I'm in a deficit, so they can't recover, and I overtrain them, so I cause atrophy to it, and it tones them up. And the deficit helps me, so I don't actually recover and build bigger abs or a thicker waist. Actually, weightlifting for the heart is better than cardiovascular on a treadmill or something. So they believe your heart only works when you're doing cardiovascular. To be a bodybuilder, do you need to train abs all the time? To be an athlete, do you need to train abs all the time? Tell me. All right, here we go.
Who's the winner? Vote it.
Vote it right now.
Vote it.
Here we go. Woo! What's it like having abs for your entire life?
It's good because you need abs, right? They're the hub of human activity.
Can I ask you a question to start this off? Because they're going to freak out when I tell them this. To be a bodybuilder, I'm going to give you two questions, not a questions. I'm going to say, to be a bodybuilder, do you need to train abs all the time? To be an athlete, do you need to train abs all the time? Tell me your answer.
So I would say, to be a bodybuilder, do you need to train abs all the time? No. If you're an athlete, do you need to train abs all the time? No. Because, like I just mentioned a minute ago, all human movement originates from the core. So everything that you do, it's reverse engineering. It goes back to your core and your core gets stronger. And a lot of the things that you do, I mean, of course you need to train abs, but I never do abs every single day specifically.
Can we shut this down for the internet and all the Instagram trainers? Because society has got dumber. So what they say is, and I put these posts up over and over again, and they go, hey, I train abs 4 days a week. I train abs 3 days a week. I got to get a smaller waist. So I'm confused. You train your arms, what happens?
They get bigger.
They get bigger. Okay, you train your back, you're working out, you feed it, it gets
wider.
So why do you guys think, you out there, all of you right now watching this, why do you think by training abs more than even other body parts, that your waist, building a muscle, is going to get smaller?
Your abs will hypertrophy as well. There are different muscle fibers. Everything is different in your body, but if you concentrate on that too much, like my abs are really super thick. I mean, very
muscularity wise.
Dense. Yeah. I mean, they're very dense. I remember years ago, I went to the San Diego Chargers doctor, and they were doing just a physical on me, and the guy came in and he started pressing on my abs. He's like, hey, Joe, come here and feel this guy's abs. And he deals with athletes every single day. Well, that's, and I've always had a very thick abdominal wall. Wait
a minute, hold on. The way you talk is going to make them think one thing, which it's not true. You have a beautiful taper, and so you guys, yeah. But they're going to think you meant thick,
dense,
muscle density.
Yeah.
So just to answer you guys' question, no, your waist does not get smaller if you train. What happens is you're toning muscle. The nutrition makes it smaller. But here's the problem: most people out there, because I'll go this step. Athletes, you got to train your abs. But you're not trying to look great on stage. You're trying to be a great athlete. So I'm okay with you training abs. And I'm okay training abs. And you're running this man runs a lot. Sprint works. I'm okay you guys doing that. But I'm talking about bodybuilding. Bodybuilding. If you're trying to create a physique for stage, I would recommend, and I was lucky enough to understand this early on, is not to train your abs like this world says to do. You're already training them when you're doing your freaking squats, your deadlifts, and other things without causing that thicker built waist, which you see after 20 years of guys lifting. They start to get that thicker waist, and they blame it on squats and deadlifts and growth hormone. But they blame it on squats and deadlifts.
Yeah, I mean, all of it adds together. To give you an example, I trained abs today in the gym, and I got the cable, and I was very specific about what I was doing. I was contracting from the top of my serratus muscle down here to my waist, so I could get those muscles right there. I was focusing just on that
skin.
And so when I train abs, I go for detail. Like, my mind-muscle connection is very, very elevated to a point where I know specifically when I'm training any body part, not just abs, precisely what I'm doing. Like if you watch Mike when he trains, he'll do something very small, like an angle change this much, and he'll be like, watch, look, because those little details create the little details. And I think there's a progression, right? Like a lot of young kids, when they first start training, of course, they get in and they train abs because they have this vision of wanting to get shredded abs, thinking that that might be the path. So this is what we're referring to. We're not, it needs to be taken into context, because anyone can take what we said just now and probably rip it apart.
They will.
You know,
because it's like when I said about cardio, don't do cardio off season, because if you do it off season, then it's not useful during your contest prep. And so then some guy goes, Michael Hearn says never do cardio. Okay, if that's what you think I said, all right, good luck in life.
yeah, it's easy to take stuff out of context. So hopefully you can get the context in which we're speaking. Your abs are always going to be trained. Of course you need to train your abs. They're a body part like any other one. But I think overdoing it with the expectation that you're going to get ripped abs is the wrong approach, because like he said, everyone's heard this saying before, abs are built in the kitchen.
Well, let's talk about training differently. So if I train to build bigger arms, there's a slightly protocol for that.
Yeah.
And then something that you and I did for the blitz, and I have everybody else do for the blitz. Do I train abs? 100%.
Yeah, 200.
When do I train abs? When I'm in a deficit, so they can't recover, and I overtrain them, so I cause atrophy to it, and it tones them up. And the deficit helps me so I don't actually recover and build bigger abs or a thicker waist, but a more toned body. And so we'll overdo it and help also burn the calories, which we're not even getting really on the blitz.
So this comes after 40 plus years of training. So what you really need to understand is this man is speaking from a very personal understanding of what works best for him. And some of that can be applied to other people, because the reality is there's no one size fits all protocol to any of this. The idea would be to take the information that you're hearing, apply what you can apply, and see how it works for you, and then build your program accordingly. So that's the beauty of having people in your life and not necessarily buying into any one specific idea of how to accomplish something. We got to be open to ideas and suggestions and not judge them based upon, oh no, he said this, he said never train abs. I can hear people now. Oh, Clark, and like one time when I did a tricep extension on one of your videos, this guy just ripped me apart because I did overhead tricep extension first exercise. He was convinced that was the last thing in the world that anybody should do, and I'm like, but it worked for me. And if it doesn't work for somebody else, the only way they're going to know is if they try it. They're not going to rip their damn arm off their body. I mean, come on.
I think that's the greatest thing you just said, is because of the fact that what we're doing is we're sitting here. It's Sunday. We're gonna spend time together and the family and play with Titan, but we want to give you some free information that we've picked up, and we picked up from a journey of health and fitness and training with the greatest in the world for over 3 decades. So again, this information's free. You like it, great. You try it, cool. You don't like it, it's okay. Move on. If you believe 3 to 4 times a week training abs, stay with that. Because I would rather have you believe something that keeps you moving and keeps you healthy at least, and you just continue forward. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you guys just going, I don't like that idea.
And there's
like the cardio thing. When I said don't use up the possibilities that you want to use during the slicing. And again, I'm going to speak from creating a physique to get on stage. Clark, on the other hand, is going to create a healthy lifestyle and a person that's active all year long. So it's 2 different worlds. I'm trying to get you in the peak shape of your life. Clark's trying to give you the peak shape of healthy living, athletically, family, and life. So I'm a smaller percentage. He should be somebody you really listen to if I go, I just want to be active and healthy all year long.
So cardio. The last time I did cardio? The last time we did the 30-day blitz. I have not stepped on a treadmill until we started it again the other day. And I'm still in pretty decent shape.
So
It
let me ask
affected me in a negative way.
Let me ask you this then. You didn't do cardio.
Yeah.
So if you were doing cardio all that time, because there's a benefit cause, hopefully you guys understand this. When you do something over a long period of time, the payback or the give back to you is not as good. So hypothetically, Clark was doing January 1st, 2021, an hour of cardio a day. So now we're closing in on the end of the 2021. If he was still doing that hour cardio a day, the give back, the the great gains that you got at the beginning of the year are not even close to the end of the year. Does that make sense to you guys?
It should.
It should make sense, right?
Yeah, because your body adapts. And that's the thing about the human body. It's the most adaptive organism on the known universe, as far as I know, and it's going to adapt to the demands that are placed on it. Now that I'm doing cardio again, I will see. I text him. I said, "Am I supposed to like get ripped in 3 days?"
You did say that.
I did, because I noticed the difference already. But here's something that I need to point out. I was still training my heart, because that's what people jumped on Mike about. He's like, well, your heart gets worked out when you're doing cardio. Well, it gets worked out when you're lifting 5,000 pounds when you're squatting and you're deadlifting. You don't think your heart is pumping harder and more? Well, when I'm pushing the sled 15 sets back and forth.
They don't know that. They think your heart only works, believe it or not. These guys do believe this. And this is scary to me. They believe your heart only works when you're doing cardiovascular.
I mean, what is cardiovascular? Is that treadmill? You know what I mean? Or is it like sex for a long time?
Or 8 seconds.
Yeah. Is it a sustained elevated heart rate to where you get the benefit from that increased output that your heart is providing, regardless of whatever the activity is? I think the problem is people have associated, just like when you say jacuzzi. That is the brand name of a spa. So when people say cardio, they automatically associate it with being on the treadmill forever. So I could get cardio other ways. Now, I said I haven't done cardio. That's basically what I just said. I haven't been on a treadmill doing what we refer to as cardio for almost a year now. And I haven't had any ill effect, because I've done other things. Like he said, I play football every weekend. I'm running routes. I'm having fun. I'm pushing the sled. So I'm still training.
And you train
my
fast.
heart. And I train fast. Yeah, I go boom, 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 boom. I'm done. I'm in and out quickly. So there's not a time for me to really come down. But here's the point. There will still be experts in the world that are come in, and here's what I would say to any expert. You don't know me. You don't know me and what I'm doing. So if you're a 28-year-old expert, come to me in 30 years. If you're a 38-year-old expert, come to me in 20 years. If you're a 48-year-old expert, come to me in 10 years. If you're a 58-year-old expert and you look like I do, good for you. You did it. You great. You should be giving advice then.
Clark's next of the night. We met with cardiologists because we're going to team up and do some more stuff about the heart. But their feedback was that actually weightlifting for the heart is better than cardiovascular on a treadmill or something. So that's helping you guys out. Also, you know what was discouraging about mentality? When that video came out about me talking about cardio, and it came from a guy that did steroids, who actually tried to do natural shows, got busted for steroids when he tried to compete against them, and then he started dealing them. And then now he's at the stage where he's scared about his life because he did do steroids. And so he's freaked out, and so he's doing a lot of cardio. So he was the one that kind of jumped on that's got this treadmill cardiovascular thing going. But it was the 20-year-olds that were complaining about you should be doing cardio. They should be. If you're 20 years old and already mentally scared that your heart's going to give out,
Yeah.
that's freaky to me.
Yeah. Or that you're out of shape or whatever.
Like, no, I'm talking about thin, small
okay.
humans that are 20 years old, smaller than Modex, saying, I do an hour of cardio a day because my heart is the strongest muscle. You just contradicted yourself. You just said the heart's the strongest muscle, but you're treating it like a baby. Make sense?
Yes.
Scary. We don't like snowflakes, and I know that you guys love that.
If you're doing heavy compound movements like squats, deadlifts, or leg press, aren't you already strengthening and working your abs? Yeah.
Well, you're strengthening everything.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about two different things. Are you trying to strengthen your abs, or are you trying to develop your abs, or are you trying to give a taper to the body? So I get the question about if you squat and stuff, you're already training your abs.
Herschel, don't worry about all of the details. So yes, you can mix your nutrition that you're doing with Mike and the Maximized Man program, because
We were just talking about him.
I let everybody in my program kind of personalize their nutritional program, going back to what I said earlier. There's no one size fits all. So I have so many people in my group that I have to give people freedom to do what they want. So Herschel, yes,